from Rebecca from Henderson, Nevada. I've been through Henderson, Nevada. Someone told me recently that staying on birth control pills until I'm in my 60s can stop menopause symptoms. This doesn't exactly sound like wise advice to me, but she was convinced she was right and sent me random Google links to prove it. I'm 42 and still taking birth control pills daily because I still get regular periods. Is there any truth to this claim? Or worse, could it be dangerous? Well, you know, birth control is a big topic. And I must say that the birth control pills have got pros and cons. My goodness. There's a lot to be said about conceiving a child when you really are ready to conceive one and you really want that child. And there's a lot to be said about having tools to not conceive that child when you're not ready or you want to. And yet there's a lot of ways for contraception. And if contraception really matters, the important thing is to have an effective means. Now, I'm a big fan of other birth control methods and what I consider to be less invasive. And so I would suggest these other methods. And very often they work beautifully, and especially in your 40s. And so it all depends what your fundamental birth control desire is. Now, as I've been mentioning earlier in this program, your estrogen and progesterone can decline significantly as early as your mid-30s or late 30s, even earlier in some cases, but certainly by your 40s. And by 42, a lot of women have declined hormones. Well, the ones they feel the most are estrogen and progesterone. Well, birth control pills have a form of estrogen in it. It's definitely not my favorite kind. It's called ethinyl estradiol. It's not the natural molecule. The estradiol part is, but it's linked up with a molecule called ethinyl. This is not my favorite kind. So if you've got birth control and contraception under control, and it is time to replenish hormones, I'm all for bioidentical in a formulation called Biest, which we go into again in the book that I've written. That's state of the art to me. And the progesterone is not a progesterone in the birth control pills. It's called a progestin. And this is an artificial and problematic molecule from my point of view. Now, in young women who this is the optimal way for them to have birth control pill and perhaps the only birth control and perhaps the only way, I'm not going to dispute it. I don't want to go into that territory, that subject. But for a woman in her 40s, if you need contraception and you have adequate contraception, I would not recommend taking the birth control pill with that artificial progestin in it. Yes, the estrogen is going to boost up the estrogen decline, and the progestin is going to mimic some of the progesterone benefits, but what the female body loves is bioidentical, same molecules what the ovary puts out, and those are readily available in transdermal creams and gels, and my favorite is organic oils mix, which the Menopause method, that's what our pharmacists put up these hormones in. And it's much more elegant, and it's a much healthier way to go. And there is no desire to keep your period going and sustain your period. Nature will take care of that, because the only way you're going to get your period to keep going, and I know this is recommended by some people, but not by me, is you'll have to take rather whopping doses of estrogen and progesterone. You don't need to do that. The benefits of supplementing bioidentical estrogen and progesterone occurred at very reasonable and lowish levels. I'm a low-dose guy with a lot of reasons that I love that method, to get all the benefits and not have the possible detriments of excessive hormone levels. So the best thing for you is, number one, assess your birth control needs, and if you go to other methods and they're fine for you, find someone who really understands what I would consider the most elegant, safest, and long-term benefits of hormone treatment for a woman in menopause. And it's a great time to start it, because undoubtedly your progesterone is declined, and and probably your estrogen is also declining. So yes, birth control pills can mimic it. They're not the ideal thing for me. When it's time for hormonal decline, and the earlier you intercept it, the better. Oh yes, 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 yes. Get to bioidentical hormones and someone who really knows what they're doing. And so today, those are the questions that I'm going to answer for today, and we'll get to some other questions. And next week, Thursdays, 3 o'clock, when we go live with the Menopause Method, I'm Dr. David Rosensweet. It's always good to be with you. And if you have questions, the best way to get them answered, because we have a long list of questions, there's many questions that I didn't get to, is call in. Call during the show, 888-502-8886. We prioritize the callers because I can learn more about you, and often I need to be able to give you my best suggestions. Again, it's an honor and a pleasure to be with you.